Well, hey, welcome, guys. This is Greg Rex. I'm here for our Thursday presentation. This is the BlockBot Unveiling. It's an introduction to the community we have called Connect United. It's a whole series of blockchain projects that are all trying to make an impact in the world. So this presentation is about 35 minutes. I have some time towards the end to check in and answer questions. We also have a chat. You're welcome to pop those in here. I think what I want to start with is just a little bit of well, I guess I better start with the disclaimers. That's what we like to do. We like to start with get the official and kind of the integrity piece out of the way. I think it's fair to say that there are a lot of projects in this space, the crypto space, the blockchain space, AI, that's got people concerned. There's some big companies that are in charge. We're trying to disrupt humanity in a good way. We're trying to disrupt and kind of level the playing field. But there have been a lot of scams. Let's be honest. There's been a lot of scams, pump and dump. If you've been involved in crypto, you've heard about them. Even kind of the internet, in the early days of the internet, there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of people. So it's good to choose who you partner with. And here's why I love this group. We're committed to the highest levels of standards. If you want to make a screenshot, these are our disclaimers, our kind of our guidelines of how we do things. Let me just do a quick kind of layman's summary. This presentation will contain forward-looking statements. I'll both talk about how I started, where I am, and where I'm going. But this is really my journey and sharing with a few of the people that I've worked with. I'm not going to make any income claims or financial advice. I'm not an advisor for that. But I'm just going to share my story. And it's kind of for your education. This is for you to understand educational purposes, hopefully give you enough information to make a good decision. If you're new and you're checking us out, let me just say there's a lot of new words, new concepts, new tools. It's kind of like going into a new frontier, a new dimension. So it may take some time. It took me a couple months to really start understanding what is a node, what is this, what is blockchain, what is crypto. But now that I really understand it, I'm more excited than ever, and I want to share it with as many people. So part of what you're doing today is doing your research, but we also recommend you do more research. We have white papers, we have webinars, we have calls, and you can research on your own. And we have a class to teach you how to do your own research. The information that we govern ourselves from is called the DGF, the Distributed Governance Framework. And that's out of Sweden. And this is a very high standard of how do you run a decentralized organization and play above the board and make sure that you're doing things legally, correctly, morally, and ethically. So I'm really proud of that. So with that said, let's dive in and I'll tell you a little bit about my journey before we go into this presentation. So my journey was I've been in personal development as a pre-med student, saw what was happening with medicine. It looked like it was going towards sick care instead of health care, and that didn't resonate with me. So I decided to go into personal development, started working with Tony Robbins, and I found my home. I found something I was super excited about. I became his rookie of the year. The first year I was there, the second year I became the national sales manager, and then I became manager of the year. And I really had a lot of fun. I stayed there for 6 years altogether. The problem was I was traveling around 50 weeks out of the year. It was very difficult on my personal life, but I learned a ton and I met so many amazing people. Then I kind of transitioned into personal coaching, like one-on-one and group coaching. And I started a company called Optavia. This is probably by this time, this was in 2001. So I had already started like nine other businesses. So this is kind of my 10th business. And this one was a coaching and wellness business. And we grew it from 50 coaches to 50,000 coaches. And in 2020, we were the world's second fastest growing company in the world, according to Fortune magazine. The problem is that it was a publicly traded company. And at first I had quite a bit of influence and I thought we were heading in the right direction. But then the bean counters and the public, the the people who had the lawyers, really, the lawyers and the bean counters took over and they started turning the ship from our original mission. And it felt difficult. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how we can have more control of our lives. Because if we look at the systems, let's transition into this slide here. The world feels broken. I mean, especially these last few weeks and the chaos that we're dealing with. Oops, I have some window waiting. Let me let them in. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Just checking in here. Um, Emma or someone, can you either put in the chat or take yourself off mute? Were you seeing my screen when I was just sharing? I just want to double check and make sure you guys could see my screen.
I could see it, Greg.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate
Yep.
that. Okay. So I'm going back. Yes, thanks, Emma. Okay, and welcome, in Ifoni Mom. Welcome to the call. So going back to the presentation here. Here we go. All right. So our systems are broken, and there's a couple of them. Many of them are broken and they're dysfunctional. Energy is we're paying more and the planet's breaking down. Food, we're getting chemicals instead of nourishment in nature. Healthcare, we're getting surgery and chemicals and pharmaceuticals instead of going for the root cause. And in the finance world, a few people, the 1% of the 1%, are getting richer and richer, and everyone else is losing money. And it feels like we're being hijacked. It feels like this next technology that's coming in, AI and blockchain, are maybe even kind of accelerating that. And because these guys have a lot of money and there's a lot of money to be made, they're growing really fast. And just to give you an idea, ChatGPT had 1 million users in 5 days. That's never been done before. And in 2 months, they had 100 million users. And Meta and Gemini, these are all, ABC, which is the Google companies. And then there's Microsoft, and there's a lot of them. But they're all big companies that are doing this. They're extracting data. They're listening to us. Like right now, we're on Zoom. This Zoom has AI listening. That AI is not only going to give a summary of this meeting, it's also going to make a profile on me, Matt, everyone on this call. It knows our email, it knows our phone number, and it has you in their database. And they're taking, okay, Matt has a son that goes to school. Greg likes to surf. Emma likes ice cream, whatever. It's capturing anything we can to make an avatar, a profile of who we are and what are our preferences or our buying habits. That data is what people are selling. That's what they are selling to big corporations. They're selling it to China. They are monetizing us. So we are the product. Now, the internet has evolved. They always say that if you're getting a product for free, you are the product, right? And so that's the reality right now is we are the product. Keep getting more people jumping in. This is great. I'm just letting people in as they come. All right. So if you're getting the product for free, you are the product. We've all heard that phrase, right? And so what's happened is the internet has evolved, and we're gonna look at that evolution. At first, in the early 90s, it came out, it was primarily a military thing. And then it became .com, which is commercial in 1994. That's when Netscape came out. And soon after Netscape, because no one could get on the internet, they didn't know how to program. You had to like have some HTML skills, coding skills. Very few people until the AOL just came out. So Web 1.0 was mostly read-only, owned by big corporations, universities. We had a few things, Netscape and AOL. Then Web 2.0 came out. Web 2.0 is when that was the movement for mobile devices and apps. So when Facebook came out, you didn't have to know software programming. You could just click on a button, post a picture. Same with YouTube. You could post your videos. So as these apps started coming out, that's Web 2.0. But again, that's central. A big corporation owns it. They have their technology, their database, and they're harvesting our data and selling it. Web 3.0 came out a couple of years ago. That was the innovation of like Bitcoin. This is when it started going from the big guys to individuals. We could have ownership because on the blockchain, you could have some ownership, but it's not simple. It was confusing, complicated. In the early days, it was so complicated that people were able to take advantage of people and kind of, do pump and dumps. If you put a one in the chat, if you've ever heard the term pump and dump, what that means, that basically somebody says, hey, we're going to make this coin. It's going to be a frog with some glasses. It's going to be a meme coin, and we're going to sell that NFT, and we're going to drive up the price. And they get the tokens and the NFTs out there, and then they dump it, and the people pull out of the money, and then everyone else is left with what? A digital picture of a frog and some tokens that are worthless. So we're breaking that. we're really breaking that whole model and we're going into what's called Web 4.0. And what Web 4.0 means is when you combine Bitcoin, I shouldn't say Bitcoin, when you combine blockchain, which is a type of technology, with artificial intelligence, now you have the power of artificial intelligence, but it's protected. Your data is protected by the blockchain. And that's a multi-trillion dollar industry. So we're going after the big guys. We're going after banking. We're going after ag. We're going after social media. We're going after AI. We're going to disrupt these industries and make them for the average person. And so that's what Web 4.0, that's what we're going into. You're a pioneer. If you're on this call, you're a pioneer going into Web 4.0. And what does it mean? Well, sometimes the pioneers have to clear a few rocks and level the ground a little bit before they can set camp. So what that means though is if you're early, then you have a lot of upside potential. You don't want to be the last one in because there's no opportunity left. Right now, yeah, you could buy Bitcoin for 100 and whatever $20,000. But if you were smart enough 10 years ago, you could have got it for 200 bucks. And so that's what we think. We think that this new platform, it's a new version of the web. It's Web 4.0, and it's going to be bigger than all three previous versions. So I want to compliment you for being here, and also compliment you for being hopefully the kind of person who can help us evolve this community, work with us, give us feedback, learn with us, share with us, and grow it because we believe we're doing good work. So let me move on to kind of what we do and why we do it. So AI is going to work for us on the blockchain. AI works for us instead of them. It protects our data and rewards us. It gives value coming to us, like we get tokens, we get value. And at the same time, our digital life is automated. And AI, as we start empowering our AI subscription, which is coming soon, you'll be able to leverage AI to do work for you, to help you as like an agent. Hold on, we got another person coming in. Hold on, I gotta let this person in here. I wonder if I can set this. Give me a quick second. I'm gonna see if I can set this to accept everyone so I don't have to keep letting people in. Nope, it doesn't have that feature. Oh, you know why? That's because of COVID. Remember when we had to have those bombers coming in and getting naked in front of us? Now you have to let people in because if they can come in without permission, then you don't know who's coming in. But kind of back to the presentation, we saw this trend coming. The founders of our company were the largest Bitcoin miners in the United States back when it came out originally. His name is Wright Thurston, and he saw the potential for this instant exchange using Bitcoin to transfer funds from around the world with its unhackable, trust oriented. That's what blockchain does. It brings trust because you know that what you see is what you get and what you're trading, what the transaction is, it's immutable and it's transparent so you can see it. No one can cheat the system. They would have to hack thousands of computers simultaneously, which is virtually impossible. So it's unhackable. But knowing that these two would combine was a futuristic thing. I mean, he saw this and he, in 2015, patented the concept of BlockBot, which is the world's first blockchain protected AI robot. So we're going to be building that and we're going to be sharing some of that with you today. But the good news is instead of it owned by Microsoft or, ChatGPT, it can be owned by us. We own it. It's owned by the people. And I want to say one more thing about BlockBot, because the transition from 10 years ago, if you wanted to mine Bitcoin, and even now, it's probably even worse, it took a lot of resources. You had to have multiple computers, sometimes hold like farms, like a big warehouse full of them, air conditioner, lots of energy, expensive chips and software. And it was expensive to mine those tokens. Yes, it paid off. They're worth 100,000+ each now, but the average person couldn't get in the game. And a lot of people that are environmentally conscious were saying, gosh, this is like really putting pressure on our ecology, all the energy we're using for blockchain and for AI needs a lot of computing power. So what Wright did is he took he made billions of dollars doing that. He took some of that money and he put it into updating software, node software, which is how we create tokens that could run on a regular computer like this one we're on right now, and it only uses the energy of one single light bulb. So we're doing what used to be done with hundreds of computers with one computer, fraction of the energy, and that's what we're doing with BlockBot. But it's not just the miner. So let me explain. Kind of BlockBot is an on-ramp. I like that word. It's an on-ramp. It's the AOL of Web 1.0. Remember how no one knew what to do with the internet back when it came out, and until AOL sent us the disk, you pop it in, you download it, you got mail. You can search the web. That made it easy to access the web. Smartphones made it easy to access Web 2.0, the apps. You go to the App Store, download it, YouTube, boom, you're in the game. ChatGPT made it easy to access AI. It was free for many people. Now they're probably spending 20, 30, maybe up to 100, depending on the kind of platform you have. You have different versions of it. But it got people on quickly. That's how they got 5 million people and 100 million people because they made it easy and affordable. And so ChatGPT was the on ramp to AI. Now that they have millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people, they want to keep them there, right? Well, what BlockBot is, this little guy here, this little robot with the W in his chest, that stands for the Win node. BlockBot is your gateway to Web 4.0, which means navigating crypto and AI in a safe way. So it's working 24/7 for us and it learns from us and we learn from it because there's classes that we can take. It earns from the system, meaning it looks at your actions, it looks at the things that you're doing and it rewards you. It connects your tools and your data and value so it keeps your data protected, but then also allows you to take that data and do what you want with it. And it rewards you for real world actions. And it's live. It's not a theory like we're doing it right now. We have over $100 million in transactions in our communities. So real quickly, there's 4 ways you get paid in reward in addition to your daily mining. And just to explain, if you haven't heard the concept of mining, a BlockBot has many things. A BlockBot has the W at his chest. That's the heartbeat of our network. That's the node software. So if you purchase node software, that software will do those transactions. It'll confirm the whole community. And for every 6 hours, we do 6 hours a day. At the end of 6 hours, the algorithm, the AI system will pay you in tokens in what we call WIN cryptocurrency. But in addition to that, there's 4 other ways we get paid. We get paid for transaction rewards, meaning if you have a wallet and if you actually have nodes, if you have a BlockBot, you can make even more commissions, but you make a transaction reward, which is a commission paid in digital currency for you referring people. If people buy an NFT, they buy a product, they buy a node, they buy anything from you, from your BlockBot, you get a 10 to 20% transaction reward. Then there's a confirmation reward, which is another 5 to 10%. And then there's block rewards, which means as you become an impact BlockBot, you have a BlockBot and you help other people get BlockBots, you get into another pool of revenue, which I'll talk about later, which is called node support rewards. So we get rewards. It's a very generous community. We get rewards for a lot of different things. But whatever we're doing, we're growing the vision. We're having an impact. We're improving the network. We're helping. We're growing the network. Should I show you this first? Yeah, I guess I'll show you this first. So one of the other ways I talked about node support rewards. So once you become an impact BlockBot, which is you're a BlockBot, you own a BlockBot, and you introduce it's going to be 5. It's currently 5 people, but we're in the midst of doing a vote that might change that. But currently it's 5 people. So if you're a BlockBot, you help 5 other people get a BlockBot. They're running nodes. You become an impact BlockBot, and that puts you into this revenue pool we call Smart Flow. And what they do is imagine if you had an Amazon store. You had your own little page on Amazon and you were selling stuff, doesn't matter what. Whatever you sold from your store, let's say you got 15% commission, that was your margin, you got that 15%, 100% of that goes to your pocket. But what if every day, and let's say that one day you did $1,000 worth of business, great. But then all these other millions of stores on Amazon, what if at the end of the day, Amazon did a snapshot of all the revenue that went through their shopping cart and said, we're going to take 10% and give that to everyone who bought a store and who owns a store and is running a store and did transactions today. 10% of the total revenue, that's big. They take another 10% and they take that revenue and they give it to the top performing stores on Amazon. And that's what we do with our impact block bots. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. But how they do it is brilliant because they don't just give us money, they take that revenue, they go out to the market and they buy those tokens. They buy green tokens, they buy rally tokens, they buy grow tokens, they buy win tokens. Whatever the order was in the shopping cart, that 10% or the other, both it's 20%, goes out and buys those tokens, and then those tokens are distributed to our BlockBot owners and our impact BlockBot builders. Does that make sense? So I'll show you what that looks like. I'll take you into the system and I'll give you a visual so you can see, picture's worth 1,000 words. So if you'd like to see what BlockBot looks like, let me switch screens and go to my BlockBot. I'm going to take you right into my BlockBot. Here we go. Okay. So when you log into your blog, I should also say there's different ways to get involved in this community. Some people are like crypto confused, or maybe they're starting to get crypto curious, and they need to get started at a slower pace. Fine, no problem. You can just get a wallet for free. If you talk to the person who invited, they can also send you an invite to get what's called a BlockBot Mini, which is a mini miner, and it gets to mine those tokens for you. It doesn't give you all the benefits, and it's just a fraction. You only get 2 tokens a day versus with a regular BlockBot, it's 200. So it's 1/100th of the regular BlockBot. But you could get that and you can get involved. And once you have your wallet, you can go in here to shop. You can look at all the different projects we have. You can buy products and services and NFTs, and you're in the game. You can a la carte, you can shop, right? You'll also get your wallet. In your wallet, you can do some really important things. Once you have a wallet, you can get crypto from the market and you can use it and bring it into your wallet. You can trade it and use transactions. Right here where it says digital rewards are those tokens we're earning. So these are the daily distributions from mining. So you can see in the win, I have over 9 million tokens that I've mined, and I've already used about 5 million that I mined for purchasing things because I want those tokens to go up, but at the same time, I want to get into the system. I want to use the grow beef. I want to try the R-Link video conferencing. I want to try the energy savings. I want to try these different things. And so what this shows me is my daily distribution from those tokens coming into my wallet. And the last thing your wallet does is it holds digital tokens called NFTs, non-fungible tokens. An NFT is just that. It's a digital coupon, so to speak. It's a one-time use. And so you can earn or buy and keep these NFTs in here, and then you can sell them or trade them or send them to somebody else. See right here, I can activate this and use it for my software to boost my software, or I could send it. I could transfer it to somebody, or I could sell it, or I could give it to somebody as a gift. So these are the digital assets. The digital assets are in your wallet. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is we have free access, even if you only get a free wallet and a BlockBot Mini, you get access to our social impact platform, which is you go from here, you click on Connect Social Impact Platform, it takes you to this platform here. Now, similar to other social media platforms, there's a home page where you get to, now this is where AI can help you connect and meet people in our membership. So these are all people that are members that you can connect with and chat with and etc. Or you can go to the main feed. Just like Facebook, you got a main wall, you got a main feed. And in this case, people can post what the greetings, love, peace, and joy. Distribution post. This is a good one here. Robert Rosello made his payment. He paid his energy bill, my 6th power bill, paid with PowerPlay with 100% rebate. So there's one of our products is we have this thing called Green, which is about clean green energy. And you can buy an NFT that can save 25, 50% on your energy bill. And some people, because their energy bill is low enough, it covers 100% because it covers up to $250. So This is just an example of a real world product that we can use today from the tokens we're mining. So the Connect feed has all this information, but what's unique about it is you get to choose what you see. Do you want to see everything? Or do you want to see just my activity or people near me or whatever? So you get to choose what shows up on your feed. Over here, we have a thing called Connect Events. This is, for example, this event we're on right here is listed. So every event we have free events like the AMA today. It's called Ask Me Anything, is about the Earn to Learn lesson. Highly recommend you check that out if you haven't. Starts at 4 o'clock Pacific. You can click on this event. You can say, I'm RSVPing, I want to go. I want to add it to my calendar. So they have all these different tools to make it easy. If you have somebody on your team that you want to send the link to that's not in the platform yet, you just click on Zoom, copy the link, and send them the link, and they can join us for that. So all these events, I've never seen one that costs money. These are all typically free events. A lot of them are recorded, so you can catch the replays right here. And you have roadmaps and FAQs. You have a lot of great tools here. The next thing I want to go into is the Academy. The Academy has currently 3 sections, but there's going to be more added. We have the Blockchain Academy. We have Crypto Academy. We're adding AI Academy, and we're adding like what's called a Personal Development Impact Academy, where it's about personal growth and becoming a better person. But the one I want to focus on, because if you're interested in getting a BlockBot, this is where for me, this was a no-brainer. This is what made it such a yes. I couldn't say no. If you get a BlockBot for $2,000, you get to earn this weekly Earn to Learn Academy. Weekly meaning that every week on Thursday, I showed you that we have the Earn to Learn coming up at 4 o'clock today. There's a new topic, and every week those topics are recorded and turned into a lesson. Last week's lesson was about distribution. What is distribution? Distribution is how we govern and share the nodes, the rewards for the people in the community. So this kind of has a little bit of a class that we teach with some visuals, but the video is what you want to watch. So you click on the video, you watch the video, it's usually 15 to 30 minutes. You complete that as done. Then you click on the next step, which is take a quiz. It's usually 5 to 6 questions. You take the quiz, you pass that. And once you pass the quiz, the last thing is to take an action. And usually they're giving us something to do about distribution, something to do about whatever we learned. And they give us a little homework assignment, something very simple. And once you do that homework assignment, you fill out this little form, and then you get rewards. This week's reward is a win boost, which is a $500 value. Now, what's cool, I have 6 nodes. So I take the test once, and I get 500 times 6. So I'm going to get $3,000 worth of NFTs this week. That's pretty cool. And you can use them, you can gift them, you can sell them. And this is powerful. You mark that as complete, boom, and then I'm ready for the next lesson, which is coming up this afternoon. So for me, that was such a no-brainer, because the Earn to Learn, if you wanted to buy, and how many people have been on social media and you've seen this ad? 15-year-old kids are starting $1 million businesses with AI, and you're still using it for email, to write emails. And then you click on that and they tell you how important AI is and how if you're going to be left behind, and it's true. And then they sell you a $5,000 or $10,000 masterclass, and you get on a webinar and people are teaching you about AI, which is great. But what if you could get paid instead of going here, which you could buy that masterclass in our shopping cart right here. We have a year-long annual Earn to Learn subscription where you can spend $5,200, and every week you have the opportunity for 52 weeks to earn at least $200. If you add up 52 times 200, that's $10,400. So you could earn digital rewards, $10,000 worth. So you could double your money if you bought this. But if you buy a BlockBot for $2,000, you get the Earn to Learn for free every week. You get a smart node where you can run your software and mine those tokens. You get access to the social impact platform, and you get a ton of value. And then you also have the ability to earn by sharing. So let me go and show you a couple more spots here in the BlockBot, and then I want to take you back to how do we get started? How do you get involved? So one thing that's super cool is you can see that when I share a wallet or I share a BlockBot Mini or I share a video to somebody, it's linked to me. I get a link and I send it to that person. And once they get started and they download their wallet, I'll have a group of people connected to me in the blockchain and I can see the ripple. I can see the impact I'm having. So I have four levels of impact. Level one, block one, is the people I personally invited, 28 people they invited, 18 people they invited. So these people, some of them I don't even know. So I have 82 people in two different countries. But if I click on this one here, my first block, the people that I introduced, I can see all their names. I can see who set up a wallet. I can send them rewards. I can see how many block bots they have. I can see how many invitations they've sent out, how many people have gotten started with them, and I can kind of help and see who's growing, and I can reach in and give them support. So this is my impact. That means this is the people who I've invited, and they've joined the blockchain with me. Now, how we get compensated? There's one other way. Let me share this. I mentioned we get compensated with the node rewards, right? So if somebody is going, if they're in my team and they order something through their shopping cart, I'm going to get points. These points create what's called a win score. So there's two things. One, how much activity am I doing on the platform? How many nodes do I have? How many nodes am I selling? How many wallets? How many people on my team? Are the people on my team active? And between my actions and my team's actions, that gives me a win score. So right now there's a 41,000. Last I heard, there was 41,000 block bots in Connect United. So my number is 141 out of 41,000. That's pretty good. I'm in the top 500. What that means, and here's how you get points. Every time you do, you help a friend earn $100 in reward, you get a fraction of a point. Every time you operate 5 win nodes, you get 1 point. And if you sell win nodes, you get points. So everything you do, the system is tracking you. You don't have to think about this. But what it does is it looks at your impact, and then it puts you into this smart pay I told you about, that revenue share where you get that 10%, you pull it in. So now I own win nodes and I own a grow node. And you can see I've earned quite a bit of rewards. 7,000, 300, 8,000, 2,100, 10,000. But here's what's interesting. I don't own any rally nodes. So let me scroll down here and let's find rally. There we go, right here. So yesterday on the 15th, even though I don't own any rally nodes, because of that revenue share, that Amazon concept I talked about, I got 166 rally tokens for operating my nodes. And I got another 475 tokens for being in the top 500, another 475 for being in the top 5,000, and another 75 for being in the top 50,000. So basically, once you become an impact blockbot and you start getting your team going, you're going to be able to earn nodes in all of these different projects. Again, I don't own any switch nodes. I don't own a green node, but look at this. I've got thousands and thousands of tokens accumulating because of my team and because of my actions. I think that's the last thing I wanted to show here. Yeah, I think I want to show the BlockBot report. The other thing that's cool is you have a tracking system for looking and running your blockchain project. So in the beginning, I invested $8,700. I got 5 BlockBots, which was $8,000, and I got another node that I earned. And so that's gone up tenfold. All times earning is tenfold, and this is from less than a year ago. In less than 1 year, and I'm only working this project 2 to 3 hours a day max. And so I love the learning. I love the community. I can't wait to get on the Earn to Learn. It's coming up in just a few minutes. But I think that the Learn to Earn, the mission we're on, learning from people I trust. I mean, wait till you see the teachers in this community. They're great. They're knowledgeable, they're humble, they have integrity, and I really feel good about all the work that we're doing. Let me show the last couple slides and then we will wrap it up. Let's see, here we go. And then if you have any questions, I do want to give everyone a chance. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. There's a little thing at the bottom called reactions, and you can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself and you can just ask me a question. So let me just finish this last part of the presentation, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, here we go. So there is a great potential for the future. We call it unrealized gains. We can't make any promises, but because we have real world value and we already have a lot of people transacting and doing business with us, $100 million, we have a lot of upside. What can you do with your rewards? You can share them. I give them away for birthday presents and Christmas presents. You can swap it for other things. You can swap it for Ethereum, for Bitcoin. You can swap it from Win to Grow and buy some beef. You can save it and hodl it, as they call it, hodling, which is holding until the value goes up and see what happens. That's that previous slide I showed you, and it's like 0.0003 right now. Imagine if I have millions and millions of tokens in my wallet and they get to $1. That's pretty cool. Might start thinking about selling at that point. Or you could just keep building and multiplying and kind of think about the future. So there's lots of things you can do with your rewards. It's a great, value. You're putting in $2,000 and you're getting multiple times that in return. This is not a startup. We've got, trillion transactions more than Ethereum. We're in 174 countries and we're giving out billings, and it's not too late. Your timing is great. And here are just some of the projects. I encourage you to get to the person who invited you to make sure at least you get a wallet in a BlockBot Mini so you can see all these different projects. Look at the ones that you're passionate about and ask yourself this question. Do I want to become an owner and buy the software and build my future with tokens? Or do I want to be a builder? And if you want to be a builder, get with the person who invited you so they can give you little tips. There's tools and there's ways to get people involved. One of the best ways is to invite them to an event like this or to a private Zoom with one of your mentors, or to bring them to one of our community events like the Learn to Learn that's coming up soon. We find that when people have a win, they get exposed, they get excited, and they want to participate.